going to my first grade class on the 1st of September, which is always the first day of school in Russia. And I returned back home. I lined up all of my stuffed animals and I started teaching them. It was something that really and immediately connected with me. I really loved my first grade teacher. She was young, she was dynamic, she was really kind. And I felt seen, which does not happen in a totalitarian society often. I fell in love with teaching for the second time after I became a student in the United States, because I saw what education can do to students from a student perspective. So when I transferred from my school in Moscow to college here in the United States, I remember sitting in my first class. I was a political science major, listening to the professor and listening to my classmates, and they started challenging the professor. They started disagreeing with the professor. They started telling the professor that some of their beliefs were not correct, and they reasoned and provided evidence for their beliefs. For me, it was revolutionary. So I really loved the freedom of thinking and the critical thought that went into education here in the United States, because back in Russia, I was an incredibly well-trained memorizer.
Alla is an incredibly compassionate teacher. She's very thoughtful. One of the things I really respect and value about her is that she makes her classroom really interactive for students. She's constantly kind of shifting topics based on what students want to learn. And so as things are coming up in the world, I'm thinking specifically about current events. She tailors her education and the education in the classroom for the student experience. And I think she does a really great job of just meeting students where they're at and making big world connections for them and really thinking about what it is that they want to get out of their education.
She portrays the classroom. It's a welcoming feeling from the moment you step in to when you're walking out of class still talking about the things you discussed. She does a great job of bringing everybody in and making them feel heard.
She's not telling us things. She's giving us information, not like out front, but like make it so we keep that information. We go to lunch like right after this, and I'm still talking about like the discussions that we've gone through, because she involves us so much in the discussions and lessons we go through.
I've always thought that it's not someone who tells you all this information that you leave the classroom with. It's someone who makes you feel like you've actually learned at the end of the day. And Ms. Chelukhova has always been a shining star in terms of making me feel that way.
That's what puts her cut above the rest of the teachers. She doesn't just put work in front of you and expect you to do it silently. She'll include the whole class in these long, multiple day, deep discussions about real, meaningful topics that have us all walk away feeling either changed or at least a bit enlightened.
Very respectful, and she cares a lot about her students. So whenever there is current news going on, so for example the Israeli-Palestinian war, she made sure that there was time in class for us to discuss our feelings for it. And her room itself, as you could probably see in whatever photos are being taken, is meant to be inclusive and create a sense of belonging. I feel like just she as a person, she is a very wholesome person. She cares so deeply about the things she teaches.